the other side of the Bridge of Khazad-dûm is the second hall. Giant pillars carved to look like trees hold up the ceiling. Ori and Balin lead the company through the dark halls and chambers. Ori has a small map on a parchment that he had copied out of a book from the Lonely Mountain. He points to a path at the end of the hall. North from there will be the 21st Hall, in the region known as the Dwerodelf. This is where they will set up their foothold in Moria and expand and rebuild from there. We see the dwarf company leaving various marks on the floor and pillars to guide Owen and the rest of the dwarves who have not crossed the bridge yet. The company stand at the base of a large set of stairs. The stairs lead up into the darkness. The top cannot be seen. They make their way up the stairs. Some slip and lose their footing as they make their way up. The dwarves are paused on the stairs. Some laying down on a platform, others sitting on the steps. Frar lets out an obnoxious sigh. The dwarves continue up the stairs. Almost out of energy, they finally make it to the top. A long hallway stretches both to the left and the right. Ori looks at his map. He turns left, then right, then left, then right again. He points in a direction and leads the company onward. As they head down the hallway, they come across a small chamber. Inside are some books, treasures, and maps. Balin suggests that they rest here for the day and they will continue in the morning. Ori sits a little ways off from the others. The book Flowey left him is open on his lap. He's accounting what has happened on their journey so far. We drove out the orcs from the great gate and the guard room and took the first hall. We slew many in the bright sun in the dale. Ori pauses and takes a deep breath. He continues to write. Flowey was killed by an arrow. He slew the great troll chieftain. Ori sees flashes of Flowey being slain. His visions are interrupted by an excited Balin. He found a map detailing nearly the entirety of Moria. Owen and the rest of the dwarves have made it across the bridge and set up camp in the second hall. Some have started fires, some are drinking and celebrating. Food is cooking over the fires. Owen is taking care of the wounded. Hona is helping him. One of the dwarves that Owen is patching up has the same thick black veins that Flowey had in his encounter with Orthog. Owen asks for some kingsfoil. Hona rushes over and hands it to him. He spreads it on the wound. The dwarf cries out in pain, and he begins to thrash around. Hona runs over and helps stop the dwarf from thrashing. The dwarf's seizures begin to slow. He lays his head back and dies. Hona and Owen release his body. Owen, upset that he could not stop the poison, walks away to get some air. Hona spots Loni watching from a distance. He looks terrified. She walks towards him. He sees her coming and tries to find something to hide the fact that he was watching the scene. Hona approaches Loni and asks if he fears death. Loni does not fear death, but he does fear the pain. Hona explains that she too used to be scared of pain. She used to be scared of a lot of things, but the sheer will to overcome can surpass even the fear of pain. Loni asks how does one learn the will to overcome such fears? But this is not something Hona can teach. It must be discovered from within one's heart. The dwarves douse some of the fires as they're getting prepared to sleep. The camp falls silent in the night. We see Hona asleep in her tent. Sounds begin to grow in the distance. The sound of goblin armor clanking together and the sound of goblin cries can be heard in the distance. Hona leaps out of her bedding and grabs her weapons. She rushes outside to see Owen and some dwarves already fighting off the goblin ambush. Hona yells out to awaken more dwarves. They start to emerge from their tents. Soon all who can fight are awake and defending the camp. Loni and Nolly fight in tandem, expertly feeding off of each other. Owen fends off the oncoming goblins from attacking the wounded. Hona takes control of the front line, organizing their defenses and yelling out plans of attack. They begin to push back the goblin host. The dwarves manage to kill the goblins. They begin to roll the bodies off the edge of the pit near the Bridge of Khazad-dûm. They pack up the rest of camp and move out, following the marks that Balin left for them. Ori pushes a bunch of the books he found in the chamber into a cart. Balin's company moves forward towards the 21st Hall, using the new map they found. They take the road north, passing by more and more chambers. They search them to find any more treasures or books. The road comes to an end as it reaches a large hall. Stairs go up and down, crossing over and under each other, a massive maze of roads. They go up 12 more flights of stairs, Frar complaining after each level. This is not the journey he expected. Ori points up, and near the ceiling is a large doorway with carvings of Durin's face on either side. The dwarves start to climb up the stairs as Frar lets out a sigh. They enter the 21st Hall. The large stone pillars line the whole space. You cannot see either end of the chamber. The sight of their home brings tears into their eyes. Ori looks at the map again. To the north, there's a chamber they can set up as a command post. They move to the northern arch in the 21st Hall and find a chamber. On the door of the chamber is a plaque that reads, "The Chamber of Mazarbul," or, in the common tongue, Chamber of Records. The dwarves enter the chamber and find themselves in a large room with an opening in the ceiling to let in light. There is bookshelves all around the room. Scattered papers and books lay across the floor. Ori starts looking through the pages. He finds some notes about Durin's bane. The pages are burned and is only able to make out a few words. Forges, not safe. Darkness, the abyss. Where Durin's bane, found, corruption grows. Balin takes a moment to try and decipher the rest of the notes. From what he can understand, the dwarf should avoid the Forges of Khazad-dûm and the Abyss, which he assumes is the name given to the mines from where the Balrog was first discovered. So they will start rebuilding by going to the old water systems and get the water wheels going again. With water flowing throughout the halls, they can get the gardens growing. While they wait for Owen and the rest of the dwarves to arrive, Balin, Ori, and Frar come up with a plan. Ori will take some dwarves down to the water wheels, and Frar will help the builders start working on living quarters here in the 21st Hall. Owen, Hona, and the rest of the company enter the 21st Hall. They are met with cheers from those who have been waiting for them. Frar approaches Loni and Nali. They hug and share each other's experiences of being separated for the last day or so. Owen starts talking to Balin and Ori. Hona is with them. He shares that Hona was a great help against the goblin ambush. Balin is displeased with the fact that goblins still walk throughout Moria. He will take a group of warriors to see if they can find any more goblin patrols in the area. Moria must be totally emptied from goblins if Balin is able to convince King Dane that it is safe to return here. Balin thanks Hona for her efforts in leading the fight against the goblin ambush. Ori asks Hona to follow him as he has something to show her. He begins to walk off to the south end of the 21st Hall. Hona follows him. They come to a door. Ori opens the door, and inside the room is a fireplace, a bed, and some tables. Ori then hands her a key and a chest of gold coins. This is her reward for winning the arena match outside Mirkwood. Hello! Thank you once again for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this episode. So we're, I think, just over halfway now at this point. I think there's maybe 3 more episodes left. But yeah, so let's talk about episode 6. I think the goal of this episode was to kind of really show Moria and like the details of it, the massive size of it, and just really explore what Tolkien wrote about Moria, but not that we haven't necessarily seen in the movies yet. Because, of course, the Fellowship, they go through Moria, and there's the one line that Gandalf has where I think he says something about it taking like 7 days or 4 days or something like that. That may actually only be in the books and not the movies. But regardless, it's supposed to take them days to get through it. But there's no really any sense of that in the movies. It's very fast, which obviously it makes sense, right? The movie's already 3 hours long. They don't need to make it longer by just showing how long they spent in Moria. But yeah, so that was the goal of this, was to show that Moria is massive. So it takes a day from the Balin's expedition entering Moria and crossing the bridge and then going through the second hall. Like, all of that was like a day just for Balin's expedition. It took them a day to get all the dwarves across the bridge of Khazad-dûm. And while that's happening, it takes them another day to get through, get to the 21st hall, basically. So it's a long time. And it was fun to explore the size of it, and all the different levels and pathways and all that stuff. And so that was kind of the goal with Frar, where he's constantly complaining about everything, or every time they go up to a new floor, every time they got more stairs, it's so big. And he's just like, Frar just gets sick and tired of it, because they go up one floor and there's just another one and another one. He thinks they've reached the top, but really there's just a whole other 12 levels to go. So it just doesn't end. And that's Moria. It's not just like, it's like 2 cities. Like, it's massive. It's massive. So that was kind of the goal that I wanted to show with this episode, is just talk about the size, and then it's again another like setup episode of right. We talk about the waterworks and the gardens, all of these other locations that exist within Moria, but most fans wouldn't know necessarily exist. The common viewers who have just seen the movies, they don't necessarily know all that this stuff exists, at least not to the extent that's actually written. So that's kind of where we're going in with the next episode of it'll be a bit of a montage sequence kind of thing of like, okay, we got the water, they're going into the waterworks and essentially fixing the plumbing and get water flowing throughout Moria again. Then they go to the gardens and we'll see that. They'll talk about the forges and the dark depths or the abyss, the shadowed caves, whatever you want to call it, for where the Balrog was found. So all this stuff will kind of be shown in like a montage thing, but that's the next episode. The only other major part here is establishing more to Hona, where she's a valued leader. She's capable of in battle and organizing troops and whatnot, and like kind of in a quick, in the moment kind of thing, where they're being attacked by goblins in the night. So Hona's got to act quickly. She notices that Owen's got the injured taken care of, so she's got to lead the main force right now and make sure that everyone stays safe. And she just jumps right into it without any kind of second guessing. So that's kind of important for her character. And then a bit more of foreshadowing or setup for Loni's character, where he talks about that fear, right? Because he's witnessing Owen and Hona help one of the sick dwarves. They can't save him, and so Loni's just witnessing this dwarf slowly die. And it scares him a bit, but as he explains, it's not the death that scares him, but it's the pain. He witnessed all this pain that the dwarf goes through, and he's just scared of the pain. And he looks to Hona, and Hona seems very brave. So looks for some guidance there, and she just helps explain that it's not something that you can teach. It's something that's it's within, right? It's you got to find the courage and the will to overcome your fears all on your own. And it takes time. So that's kind of, and so that's setting up something that's going to happen. Should happen in the next episode. It might be 2 episodes away, but I'm pretty sure it sets up the next episode a bit. But yeah, that's kind of, I think that's kind of it for this episode. I guess we'll do a quick little tangent here. For those that don't know, Warner Brothers has now officially announced another Lord of the Rings movie, or another Lord of the Rings project. So at the end of this year, 2024, we are getting War of the Rohirrim. If you didn't know, surprise, now you know, but that's a little bit of old news. The new news is that in 2026, maybe 2027, we're supposed to get a Gollum movie. Right now, working title being The Hunt for Gollum. We don't know any other details aside from that. We can it's safe to assume that Ian McKellen as Gandalf is in it. Potentially Viggo for Aragorn will be in it. Andy Serkis, I think, is confirmed for Gollum. But Peter Jackson is producing it and I believe directing it. So that's exciting that we're actually going to get some more Peter Jackson Lord of the Rings stuff. So that's fun. But that's all we know. That's all we know for now. And I'll if more news comes up as I write these scripts, I'll try to talk about it at the end of these, because yeah, we all love our Lord of the Rings content here. I think that's it. So once again, thank you for watching. Thank you for the support and the comments that you've been leaving and the feedback. I really do appreciate it, positive or negative. It's all feedback is good feedback. And just keep doing what you're doing. Sharing it with your friends, family, bringing it onto various, community discords or whatnot of Lord of the Rings groups, and keep sharing it, keep commenting, and let the YouTube and TikTok algorithm take over, because we're all enjoying it, and we'd love more people to see it. So let's keep doing that. So thank you very much. I appreciate you, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye-bye.